Hey Boss Tribe, it's Dee Schutz here with you. We are filming some amazing episodes of Boss in the Chair here in New York City, one of my favorite cities in the whole world. So excited to be here. Our guest right now with me is Beth Hernandez Casey. She is all around badassery. So we're going to talk to her today about her journey. She's a phenomenal entrepreneur here in New York City. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. I got to learn a little bit about you and your journey into entrepreneurship. So you had this amazing career, you worked for an amazing company, and then recently you started your own business. So tell us about your business first.
So I am an event marketer and event manager, and I launched in this year full-time my own event marketing and management firm. So my plan was to be a solopreneur forever, basically, and operate on a shoestring budget, but bring my expertise and experience to clients. I just hired my first junior event coordinator.
Yay!
Yesterday was the end of her second week. And so things are happening really quickly.
Yeah.
And I want to take advantage of that momentum, so I bit the bullet and did it, and I have another one starting on Monday.
So you have 2 employees this year.
Very part-time, but 2.
2 employees,
yes.
Yeah. We're going to own it. She has 2 employees. The Boss Up is interesting. What we hope for folks to get from this is, all of us that have achieved certain things in our lives or that are doing certain things in our lives, I want folks to hear about the journey to the outcomes, because too often we hear people's outcomes and not how they got there and like the hard stuff that we have to sit with every day in order to do these things that we love. So you told me an amazing story, and I want you to share it with the Boss Up Tribe, but how did you decide that you were going to go out on your own at this time?
Yeah, so doing the thing, actually quitting my corporate job and starting my business was the easiest decision I've ever made. It came very easily to me. I found myself in another corporate job that I had just gotten. I started this job in February 2019. And previously, I was at a job that I would have been happy to work in until I died, probably. Mm-hmm. I loved my company, I loved my boss, I loved my team. And even though I knew I wanted to start being a nerd, I probably, I just kept on giving myself timelines. In a year, actually 2 years, 3 years. But this new job was very apparent from the get-go that I just wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I would come to work and dread it every moment I was there. I was chained to a desk. I had to wear business casual for the first time in like 5 years. Yeah. So I went and spent an ungodly amount of money on clothes that I hated.
Yeah.
Which really sucked.
That sucked.
So I just came to a point where I was like, I'm done. I'm too smart and too old for this. So I made the decision to leave. It felt amazing, and it continued to feel amazing. I was so fortunate that my old company hired me right away to work on a few projects. So it felt great. And then maybe 6 weeks into being nerd full time, I was like, I actually have to get their clients now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that anxiety, the fear, the nervousness happened after the fact.
Yeah.
And I'm so fortunate that that's how it played out, because I don't know if I actually would have done it.
Yes. It's one of my favorite lessons in comfort zones and how you can be happy and have a lot of success. So you said at that job that you were at for all those years and direct access to CEO, and then you went and took this other job for more money. And that's sometimes, we all have done that at least once in our careers, where we chase the dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And then you learn that, your ability to be happy at work is this big picture that has, money's great, but then, I'm having to wear business clothes and be chained to a desk because that you couldn't pay me enough.
So it's all about the trade-offs, always.
Yeah.
So I'm a mom, I have a 3-year-old son, and I make trade-offs daily to do what I want. But that trade-off of freedom and happiness is never something I'm going to do again. And, it's a if I knew then what I know now thing, but there's no way I could have possibly known that so much more money and such a fabulous title and promotion could actually be misery.
Yes, that's an amazing lesson. And I also think that it was meant to happen so that you would have the fuel to start your business. Do you feel like that was the lesson?
1,000%. Otherwise, I still would have been in my previous job, again, probably happy as a clam,
Yeah.
but not making any sort of waves, and not being able to be who I am for my family now.
Yeah.
And that's the best part about this.
Yeah. What's the hard part about this? Entrepreneurship for me, I've run other people's companies, without a ton of fear. And then when I stepped out on my own, it was a different world, trying to motivate myself and be responsible for folks that you're hiring now. Like, that's just a whole different game. So what's been hard about the transition?
So I'm very internally motivated, and I always have been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I run marathons, I pick ridiculous goals and then do them.
Good.
Like I just finished my third marathon, and my husband and I went to a restorative yoga class on Wednesday to get me back into moving my body. And there was a new poster at our favorite yoga studio about a yoga teacher training, and I looked at it and was like, and he looked at me and was like, stop. Like, no.
I'm not doing that.
You're not going to become a yoga teacher. So I don't have that challenge, but what I am having a hard time with is sales.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to talk myself up ever.
Uh-huh.
And I'm so lucky that, again, in my corporate job, I just always got the raise and bonuses that I wanted to get.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to sell myself.
Yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable. I hate it. I hate talking about myself. That's been something that I had to learn how to do really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to hire me to do an event and spend thousands of dollars on my services if I'm like, so first we work on your strategy and then we do this. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm really good at my job. And so I've really taken a dive into self-help, visualization, affirmations, and at first I'm very eye rolly about the whole thing. And I'm very skeptical about it, but 2 months of doing that, literally,
It worked.
I'm sitting straighter and taller. I'm walking in a different way. I walked into Mac yesterday,
Yeah.
which normally I have to beg someone to talk to me. I walked in there yesterday in my normal casual clothes, not a stitch of makeup on, and immediately someone comes up to me and is like, hey, how are
How
you?
can I help you?
Yeah, sits me in a chair, does my makeup, and I was like, what the? Are you talking to me? I just feel like it's changed how I carry myself in the world and how I move in the world.
Yeah.
And
Confidence is an energy, not behavior. That's what I always tell people. So if you gain confidence, if your energy shows up differently when you walk into a room versus anything you say or do. I think that's probably what you're experiencing.
That's absolutely
energy.
what I'm experiencing. I get approached fewer times on the street in New York for, buy this or take this tour. So I had to learn that quickly again because I had goals for this year, for this full-time launch year, which I hit all of them 2 weeks ago.
For the year?
I mean, so also I was kind of like,
them.
all right, I hit them,
Yeah.
but maybe, I need to revisit because I'm a planner, event planner, personal planner, crazy planner. I, of course, already had a 3-year and 5-year plan, and I was like, wait a second, I hit this really early. I need to go back and re-examine these goals. Were they challenging enough?
Yeah.
Am I being too easy on myself because I want to tick off those boxes because I love doing it?
Yeah. Or re-examine now with this newfound confidence of, okay,
Right.
I got to approach this with, I got this, so now what are my goals
Right.
for my business? I think the sales thing is good. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, that's the hardest part about your own business. It certainly is the way if I'm a CFO. Selling a business, getting people, sitting down and pitching people, even wanting to charge people for services. I just have struggled with that, launching my own business, and I think people underestimate how hard that's going to be. What do you think is one of the books you read or one of the tactics that's helped you in such a short time sort of gain that ability to sell yourself?
So I just applied things that I had learned throughout my career to myself and literally stood in front of a mirror like, you can do this. This is about you. Can I name drop someone?
Please.
Okay, so
They're not going to sue me. You're going to say something nice?
Yes. My old boss, Dan Epstein, he was amazing and he let me do all these amazing things at Resource Pro, and I worked for him. And when I first started event planning, I was like, I want to do this, but I want to do it right. You know, he sent me to a class, but I was very close to him, and he would just give me MBA lessons, I used to call them.
Yeah.
Like, all the time, over coffee, over lunch. And there were so many things that I learned from him, and I just applied them. So, never do work for free. You know, you're valuable, you're providing value.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
Be compensated for it, and that's okay. People will follow that and appreciate what you bring to the table if it's valuable. And, you know, do what counts. Do not waste time doing things that somebody else can do.
Oh, I love that one.
So, because I knew that,
Yeah.
when I was hitting my goals, but also finding myself doing emails at 10 p.m. on my couch, that is not what I signed up for when I did this. I don't want to do it for myself. I certainly don't want to do it for a company. I made a job description of a junior event coordinator and all the things that I wanted them to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel ready for it. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to spend this money right now. I'm so happy that I did it, but I don't know that I would have done it unless I had had years of Daniel Epstein being like, delegate it.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you're working too much? You're working 60 hours a week? Well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing menus and attendee lists. Nope, someone else can do that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I think the transition to being like, oh, I have to somehow like pay myself what I was making when I was a salaried employee versus spreading out your revenue in the beginning so that you can grow your business is scary, right? Where it's like, no, you know, it's more important for you to have a team to go faster and get this thing going. That was hard for me too. And the other thing that was hard for me is like motivating myself, like not having to owe something to somebody else. And,
right.
You know, when you're incorporated, no matter how big your title is, you have bosses. And so I'm like, oh, I need to get up today and treat this day like I would if I was going to somebody else's office. And that was a real shift for me.
Yeah, so I get up every morning at 5 or 6 in the morning, depending on the day and what I'm going to do in terms of working out. But I go through a ritual every morning and every night. And my ritual in the morning is borrows heavily from the Miracle Morning book, and also the Happiness Project.
Yeah, I love that one too.
So like tweaking, you know, your routine. And so I read a business book in the morning, something that's related to self-improvement, business improvement, or directly related to event planning. And that's been really helpful, but also at the end of that period, I review the day that I planned the day before and think, have priorities changed overnight? Do I have like a crazy email from clients? And my goal is not to work to death. And so I was feeling really guilty about like, oh, I only put in 35 hours this week. Like, am I doing enough? There's always more to do as an entrepreneur. There's always a blog post that needs to be drafted. There's always research that needs to be looked at. Oh, you can always schedule social media posts. You can always engage with other people. Like there's always work to do, but I'm trying to set up boundaries and take things easier, make things easier on myself. And I want the work life that I'm creating for myself to not be work life. I just want it to be my life.
It's your life, that's right. It's all one thing. I always say wherever we go, we take us with us. So, you know, you can say that. You can say, oh, I'm this person at work, I'm this person at home, and actually that's just exhausting. And so how do you be this whole person that's living this whole life? And that's, you know, the work, the soul work that we have to do in our careers that not enough people do. And it sounds like you're doing it all the time. And you said two things that I love, which is habit, which I think we underestimate the value of good habits in our day, and ritual and structure. I'm not naturally structured, so I have to create that in my space, and like this reflection that you kind of do every morning on yesterday and on what's coming. Have you always been like that, or did you have to develop those habits?
Oh no, I read The Happiness Project 2 years ago, and it was at a time when I had a 1-year-old. My life was in shambles. My hair was never clean.
Yeah.
You know, things were really hard. I was really struggling with being the mom who I thought I was always going to be, and, you know, the badass boss that I felt like I was, and that I felt like I couldn't be at the same time. And so I had a great therapist, and she was like, read some books, like, you're not unique. I'm sorry to say that,
That is a good therapist.
So I read The Happiness Project, and it resonated with me so much, like, and I loved her approach. Here's the science, here's the research, here's the takeaway. And that book really helped me to set a aspirational day, what my routines would look like. And something that really hit me in that book is towards the end, she's like, I've only had 2 perfect days where she did everything on her list that she wanted to do every day. But it really resonated with me, so I started small. And I mean, it took me 2 years to get to a place where now I don't feel crushing guilt when I miss a meditation.
Good. Yeah.
Or
that's not the point of meditation.
Right.
No crushing guilt when you skip one that day. Yeah.
So I've gotten to a place where I have a ritual.
Good.
And I make time for it. And sometimes it might be 6 minutes, and sometimes it might take 2 hours if I have a leisurely morning or if I wake up at 5 a.m. and I can. And that's amazing and great, but it took a long time to get there.
Yeah.
It was a rocky road.
Oh my gosh, but it's the road, and you didn't quit, and eventually they become habits, the things you need in your day versus the ones you have to try to do, but we all quit before they form, you know, into habits, so you're dropping so many gems on us. When you do feel guilt now, what is it about?
I don't.
That's amazing.
I mean, this is new, but I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't feel it.
Good. You've been able to push that away.
Well, I'm actually, okay, no, wait. I do feel a little bit guilty, and this is related to marathon training. But marathon training as a 32-year-old mom, not the same thing as marathon training as a 27-year-old single woman or 23-year-old single woman, shocker. It would take me a really long time to do these long runs, and so after my husband worked a crazy week, he would be Mr. Mom all day on Saturday while I was running, because it would take me 4 hours to do my run, and then I would be useless afterwards. So that is something that I have felt guilt about. But that marathon is behind me. I'm not going to join teacher training for yoga.
Yeah. The husband stepped in on that one. Sounds like me. Oh, I can do that too.
Yeah, I can do all of the things.
You're not doing it. No more. No more.
So, and from now on, you know, the marathon's behind me. I'm just gonna be more available for my family. I already am more available. I have more energy because I've been working on Meeting Nerd and for clients that I love and projects that I love.
It's what you love. It does feed your energy. It's
a very different feeling at the end of the day. It's not like, oh my God, I'm so tired. It's like, hey baby, how was your day?
Oh, good.
Cooking for my family again, and you know, we eat dinner at the table together.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I mean, that's the goal. That's the dream.
Yeah, I love that you're talking about all of these things, because it's back to wholeness. Like, that's success to me, when you can get back to wholeness, and enjoying all the pieces of your life. And how do you feel about when I say the word balance to you? Do you have it? Do you try to find it? Do you even care about it?
Yeah, I think balance is everything. It's everything. Sometimes, right now, because I found, you know, clients and success pretty early on, at one point I had 5 events going on at the same time, or not all being executed at the same time, but lead up or post all around the same time, so it was really busy, and I found myself working 10-hour days. And even if it's for myself, that's a lot. But I balanced that out by completely taking off the rest of the week because I needed it. And because, you know, we needed fresh groceries, so we're not ordering Chinese every night, even though it's amazing. So balance is important, and I'm learning that balance doesn't mean, you know, going hard and playing hard. That's what it used to mean to me. Now it's more moderation in pleasurable activities for myself, moderation in work.
That's amazing.
Moderation in, you know, family and friend time. So I'm trying to be more available for my friends and nurture those relationships too, which have suffered,
Yeah.
you know, when you're working crazy hours and you're just exhausted.
Yeah.
So balance is kind of my goal for everything.
That's amazing. I like, you feel balanced, like your energy is balanced, by the way, like I love it. It's good for my crazy energy. I'm a Libra, so we never actually find balance, we just try all the time, so we're always just swinging between one thing and another. So that definitely describes me, but I love that answer. This is sort of moderation of all things instead of doing all things, which I think some people think that means you're balanced, which is insanity, especially women. We have this pressure, they do it all, but no, moderation of things that make you happy.
Yeah.
I love that. What's a piece of advice that you would leave our Boss Up tribe with, you know, people that are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, someone who just had a new baby? You know, you've been through so much in the last 3 years, so many changes and transitions, and what would you tell people that are transitioning in similar ways, even just one of those transitions?
I learned this lesson so many times the last 3 years, the last 4 years really, starting probably when I was pregnant, but just you have to learn to let it go. Let go the expectations we create for ourselves, the pressure that we create for ourselves. Most of the time, if you let any of those thoughts kind of exit your mind and you speak it to a friend or a colleague, most people are like, what? Why are you stressing about this? Like, it's not a thing.
Sure, yes.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
So when it came to expectations around motherhood and all the things that I wanted for my baby, like, you know what? Let it go. It's fine that they have unadulterated juice at a birthday party. Let it go. And you know
That's
what?
amazing. I had a baby at 16, so like I was just trying to survive. So like this is so amazing. Like, you know, all this stuff that you have a lot more pressure in this world today to have a 3-year-old than I did back then, because people expected me not to know what I was doing. They were like, help her because she's 16, right? Which is amazing. It's why I was able to build my career. And then when people turn 30 and have kids, we sort of are just judgy. Like,
oh yeah.
why doesn't she know what she's doing? Or like, you want to do everything perfect, or you can Google things. Like, I didn't have any of that going on, and I think it was so healthy for me as a parent. So let it go. It's right. Like, they're alive today. Sometimes, you know, they're a pain in my ass, but they're alive and well and healthy and lovely. Like, okay, you made it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
all around, I happen to have an amazing junior event coordinator right now, and to give her work, I knew intellectually to give her this work.
Yeah.
But it's my baby, it's my company, this is my brand, but actually no. Being an entrepreneur, being a leader is not about doing everything.
It is, right?
It's about inspiring and supporting and leading the people who will do the thing and let it go.
What's one word to describe yourself as a leader that you could leave us with?
Service. I think leadership to me is being in service of others, and that's what grounds me, and that's what keeps me going. And sometimes leadership will look like teaching someone a skill,
Yeah.
talking them through something, but sometimes leadership is getting coffee and
So true.
just listening to someone and really listening to them and not giving them any wisdom or advice, just shutting up.
Shutting up and listening.
It's just about being in service.
Okay, I love that. Thank you for dropping all this beautiful knowledge on us. People are going to love it. So thanks for being here with me. We have our rosé. We have to cheers to bossing up. Boom.
Boom.
Thanks, Beth.